Yesterday, we stopped at the paragraph concluding about the Kalama Sutta. One has adequate reasons in present life to abandon unwholesome mental states and cultivate wholesome mental state. If there is an afterlife, one's recompense is simply that much greater. Next paragraph. A similar approach underlies text chapter 3.3, in which the Buddha demonstrates how present suffering arises and ceases in correlation with present craving. This short sutta, addressed to a lay follower, concisely articulates the causal principle that lies behind the Four Noble Truths. But rather than doing so in the abstract, it adopts a concrete, down-to-earth approach that has a remarkably contemporary appeal. By using powerful examples drawn from the life of a layman deeply attached to his wife and son, the sutta makes a deep and lasting impression on us. This is also, I think, one of the most skillful way of the Buddha to give a deep impression of the teaching on us by giving an example that's relatable to whoever is listening. We will take a look at this sutta when we read the sutta after the introduction. Okay. Next paragraph, Sister Saikyang, would you like to read?
The fact that such texts as this sutta and the Kalama Sutta do not dwell on the doctrines of karma and rebirth does not mean, as is sometimes assumed, that such teachings are mere cultural accretions to the Dhamma that can be deleted or explained away without losing any essential. It means only that at the outset, the Dhamma can be approached in ways that do not require reference to past and future lives. The Buddha's teaching has many sides, and thus, from certain angles, it can be directly evaluated against our concern for our present well-being and happiness. Once we see that the practice of the teaching does indeed bring peace, joy, and inner security in this very life, this would inspire our trust and confidence in the Dhamma as a whole, including those aspects that lie beyond our present capacity for personal verification. If we were to undertake certain practices that require highly refined skills and determined effort, we would be able to acquire the faculties needed to validate those other aspects, such as the law of karma, the reality of rebirth, and the existence of super-sensible realms. See text, this is 7, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See text number 7 for section, I think 23 to 24, and text 7.5, 19 to 20. Thank you.
Thanks, Sister Saikyang. Okay, so this paragraph again emphasis on, well, we don't have to directly verify those teachings that are not directly verifiable by us for now. It means that at the outset, the Dhamma can be approached in ways that do not require reference to past and future lives. This also does not mean that such teachings are mere cultural accretions to the Dhamma. That can be deleted away without losing anything essential. So we try to tackle our present concerns first, and then once we gain confidence that the teaching works, then we will have trust and confidence in the Dhamma as a whole, including those aspects that lie beyond our present capacity for personal verification. What are those aspects? The law of karma, the reality of rebirth, and the existence of supersensible realms. Okay, next paragraph, Sister Shomei, would you like to read?
Another major problem that often besets spiritual seekers is the demands that teachers place upon their capacity for trust. This problem has become especially acute in our own time, when the news media gleefully spotlight the frailties of numberless gurus and jump at the chance to show up any modern-day saint as nothing better than a swindler in robes. But the problem of rogue gurus is a perennial one, by no means peculiar to our age. Whenever one person exercises spiritual authority over others, it is only too easy for that person to be tempted to exploit the trust others place in him in ways that can be seriously detrimental to himself and his disciples. When a pupil approaches a teacher who claims to be perfectly enlightened and thus capable of teaching the path to final liberation, the pupil must have some criteria at hand for testing the teacher to determine whether the teacher truly measures up to the lofty claims he makes about himself or that others make about him.
Thanks, Sister Shomei. Yeah. This is, I think, quite an important paragraph. So, any modern day saint is nothing better than a swindler in robes. This is also interesting. The problem of rock gurus is a perennial one, by no means peculiar to our age. What does perennial means? Recurring. So even in the Buddha's time, there are already many rock gurus. All the fake gurus. So in this sutta, the Buddha will give some criteria on how to evaluate, and it's even encouraged by the Buddha to evaluate and test your own teacher. So this is also what makes Buddhism interesting to me. Most religions would probably discourage you from questioning or doubting or testing your teacher, but in Buddhism, the opposite is encouraged. You should test, you should validate, you should evaluate your teacher to really assess whether he lives up to his claim. Does any of you know any rock gurus? Have you encountered one before, or maybe see online? Surely there should be some. Sister Billy, would you like to read?
In the Vimasaka Sutta, text chapter 3.4, the Buddha lays down guidelines by which a monk can test the Tathagata, that is the Buddha, to evaluate his claim to be perfectly enlightened. One benchmark of perfect enlightenment is freedom of the mind from all defilements. If a monk cannot directly see into the Buddha's own mind, he can nevertheless rely on indirect evidence to ascertain that the Buddha is free from defilements. That is, by evaluating the Buddha's bodily deeds and speech, he can infer that the Buddha's mental states are exclusively pure, uninfluenced by greed, hatred, and delusion. In addition to such observational inference, the Buddha further encourages the monk to approach him and directly inquire about his mental states.
Okay, thanks, Sister Billy.
Thank you.
This is the part where the Buddhas give some guidance on how to evaluate. So the first benchmark is the freedom of the mind from all defilements, but not everyone can directly see into the Buddha's own mind. Then the second method, we can rely on indirect evidence. What is that indirect evidence? By observing the Buddha's bodily speech and bodily deeds and speech, and then we can infer the Buddha's mental states are exclusively pure, uninfluenced by greed, hatred, and delusion. The third one, the last one, the Buddha also further encouraged the monk to approach him and directly ask him about his mental states. So these are the three methods that the Buddha gave as a guidance to test, to assess, to evaluate your teacher. Any comments?
Actually, let's now back to the video, right? It's not that difficult to tell about his fake, right? Because from Buddha or even other wise people's how they behave is that, you know, he would not just show you his sort of magical power. But this guy, he is so eager, right? He's just telling you don't tell me, you don't have to tell me your birthdays. And then he had even problem remembering the child's birthdays. So I think that's quite easy to understand, to see. You see through when you're objective, but when you are in it already, then it's quite difficult to pull up, you know, like that lady. Everything he said, then you become like, oh yeah, it's true, you know. Yeah, eczema has to do with blood. So yeah, I think it's good to be critical at onset and be objective. And of course, it's like us, we are very blessed. We probably meet the right people.
Yeah. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was reading Still Flowing, Ajahn Chah, and I recall that the Buddha has always taught, he said, he is very reluctant to show spiritual powers. And I think it is against the Vinaya or against, to go and tell your disciples you've got spiritual powers.
Yes.
So even the Buddha, unless he is bopian, in a bopian situation, he then shows some of these miraculous powers. Otherwise, no. Because I think the principle is probably you don't need the spiritual powers to help you understand the Dhamma. In fact, going for the spiritual powers or miracles will help you be distracted from the Dhamma. Because it is shortcut, spiritual powers is shortcut, right? You just pray and pray that there's something will happen.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I like Sister Billy's comments that, while we are here, we can see clearly that it's not right, but yeah, like Sister Billy mentioned, if you are inside, it's not easy to get out. Yeah. I would say my parents also like to look for all this miraculous stuff. They always go around and ask around. Not sure if you guys know the term, kwamia.
We all deal with it at the same time of our lives. I forgot many.
But actually, those are superstitious.
Yes, but
superstitious.
And if I look back at my own Dhamma journey as a teenager, or late teen, if I didn't know how to do the oracle sticks, the qian in the Guan Yin Miao, that qian, I think if I didn't know how to do that, or get drawn into doing that for results, for exams, whatever, I may never have been very close to the Dhamma. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say that it's totally wrong, but I think somewhere that there must be a trigger point.
Yeah.
I think stick to the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and dependent arising, all this, then you won't go wrong.
Yeah, that's true too. You know, if not because of my parents are Buddhist, probably I would not be Buddhist, or I would not be here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Because of our parents, that's why today we are Buddhist.
True, true. Okay, any more comments? If not, let's do a dedication. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了。我愿具障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may we be guided by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a miraculous Friday ahead. Enjoy the miracle of the Dhamma. Thanks everyone. I'll see you guys next time. We have a good discussion today.